Hey everyone, I'm Rather Incoherent, back with more Crusader Kings 3. And I've just changed over the map mods I've been using and done a lot of research into the game, and there's a lot I want to talk about. A quick heads up, I spent the first 26 minutes of this video theory crafting and talking about what I got wrong in previous videos and what our plans are for the future. There's a lot of different mechanics that I talk about and touch on, but if you're not interested in listening to that, then go ahead and go to the video timestamps, skip to the next chapter about 26 minutes in, because legitimately I do not unpause the game for the next 26 minutes of this video. Right now, the only mod that I'm using is Vasiclay. I'm not quite sure how it's pronounced, but his map mod and the white borders mod for it. So now when we zoom in, you're going to see that we're using the normal CK3 maps, with the only difference being the borders are animated a little bit differently, and especially that there are now white borders between the counties, which I greatly appreciate. And this still feels really weird to me. When I'm zoomed in this far, I really can't tell at a glance what is what. It's not super clear to me. And I prefer this for visual intuition of what's going on, but the map is just so much prettier like this. It just really hurts to go down to CK2 quality. And there are mods where you just have it continue to stay filled in, but keep all this. And even though those are close to what I want, I still feel like you have much uglier borders if the fill stays in. And on top of that, it still heavily degrades the quality, just not as much as the mods I've been using. Now, before I get into all this stuff I've learned and want to talk about, what are our goals for the campaign? Because so far I've really just been learning the game, I've been figuring out how everything works, I haven't really been too committed to any specific goal. And I do have some goals in mind. First, I want to reform my religion and declare a great holy war. That just needs to happen. Next, I want to form a branch of Norse culture. I'm not committed to a hybridized culture with like the French or the Greeks, or just reforming the Norse culture to be better. Don't really care specifically what, but I do want to reform the culture before I quit. I have no desire whatsoever to become a feudal empire. We're staying tribal to the end of the campaign, and I'll get into why a little bit later. However, my very specific goal is we just fought a crusade, and we were clearly the linchpin of that crusade. But we played terribly, we didn't know the attrition mechanics at the time, we used our levies and lost huge numbers of troops. And I can make my armies much more effective. Not the levies, but I can get more and better knights and men-at-arms. And I want to do that. I want to defend the next crusade, because let's be clear, the next crusade will be targeted at me. I'll own most of England by the next crusade, I'll have stolen other bits of Christian land from around the world, I'll probably have conquered some other stuff. There's basically no chance of anyone but me getting crusaded, and maybe just to make sure it's me, I'll steal some more land down in Spain, in case they try to declare it against the Muslims down here. So I do have a bunch of goals: form an empire, reform my culture, reform my religion. But the big thing that I'm doing this for, that I'm building towards while I hit all these smaller goals, weird to call building an empire a smaller goal, is that I want to single-handedly defend against a crusade without raising my levies. I want to see just how true it is that in CK3, quality trumps quantity every single time. Now let's talk about all the stuff that I've been doing wrong in the recent videos or that I've learned between them. I finally decided to stop and take a look at Canterbury and be like, why does Canterbury make so much money? Why does Bruges make so much money? And I sort of figured, like, you know what, it's probably like the archbishops of the place that run it. That's completely not the case. Canterbury is owned by an earl. Over here it's a duke in Ghent. These places aren't like religious archbishops that have all the money in their realm, essentially. I don't know why they're so valuable. And if anyone does know why so much money is going into these specific places, I would love to hear it. Next, let's talk about supply and attrition. Coming over to my military, I can move this rally point over here, and let's talk about it. There's a raise button here, but if you actually stop and read the tooltip, you're going to see at the bottom, control-click to not split armies based on supply limits. The reason my armies are being split whenever I raise them is because they're being placed in a way where they don't have any attrition penalties. And oh boy, let's talk about attrition. Because the fact that I've been winning wars in spite of not only not understanding, but actively playing as badly as possible with regards to attrition is insane. Champions and Varangian veterans are nonsense. That's what I've learned. And if we were playing around attrition, all these wars we won could have been won faster with less casualties. So to my understanding, there are two separate attrition mechanics. First, if I walk into this guy's land, and I cross this county border into the next county, and this county isn't sieged, I'm moving from enemy land into enemy land, and there'll be an attrition tick that happens when I cross that border because I'm moving around well outside of my own supply lines. Then after that, every single holding has its own supply limit. On this one, it's 2,900. On the next one, it's 2,610. It's the one in blue, the only one that stands out. And you would think this would attract my attention because this mechanic existed in CK2, but I've been ignoring it entirely like a lunatic for some reason. So the reason my supplies are going down so fast is I'm walking a stack of 10,000 men through an area with a supply limit of 2,600. However much I'm over that supply limit, it's going to make my supplies deplete faster, which will in turn eventually drop down to 0 supplies, leaving me with no supplies and starving and minus 25 in all battles and losing 5% of my men every month. And we've been winning wars in spite of that, which is insane. One more thing I want to mention about rally points, you'll see that over here, if I raise everyone here, it'll take 39 days. And if I were to move this rally point all the way down here as far from me as possible, and then try to do the same thing, it'll take 55 days. So it does take into account that your units will take longer to get to an area that is further from you. However, I strongly suspect that getting from the northwest tip of Iberia up to Norway probably takes more than 14 days, so they're still basically teleporting. That mechanic is not quite tuned correctly. Next, in previous videos, I've talked about wanting absolute tribal authority, because coming over to succession, designated heir requires absolute crown authority. There are a lot of things in the game where they're called different things, but they're all the same. I've got champions, Europe has knights, people in Muslim and Indian nations have things I can't pronounce. This, however, is not one of those cases. I have tribal authority, and when we go to feudalism, I'll have crown authority, and they are different. You can check real easily. Hovering over tribal authority, we get this tooltip, and then when we come over to succession and we hover over crown authority, this is a different tooltip, because they are not the same. Another thing I'll mention, I've changed the setting. Previously, to interact with something, I would have to wait an amount of time for it to lock. Now I have it set to middle click locks it, and then I can middle click off of it, or just move away. And the big reason for that change is during a war, I was trying to look at something like this, and I couldn't, but with action lock, I can. That's actually the reason. It doesn't matter that the other one is also locking. For some reason, the lock is less effective outside of action lock. Even with action lock, if I'm slow about it, it'll still go away. But if I'm very quick with action lock, it works, and for some reason I don't have that experience using timer lock. Now coming back over to tribal authority, the big thing that maximum tribal authority does is it lets you become feudal. In fact, that's all it does, and it makes everyone hate you. High tribal authority still has a lot of value. It lets me revoke titles and vassals. It lets me enact North Korea mode and run my kingdom with as much precision as I need to, which is very valuable in some cases. So I absolutely still want high tribal authority, and I'm still going to work towards that. Absolute tribal authority is only worth getting if I'm going to feudalism, and as I said earlier, I'm not going to. I spent a lot of time in-game looking around, trying to find out how feudalism worked, what the texts in the game were, what were the culture options, the religion options. And it took me a good long while to figure out what the advantage of feudalism is. Because you don't just suddenly get better units when you become feudalism, you don't get tremendously better levies, and if you did, levies suck, that wouldn't help. You don't get access to any buildings that give you more knights for being feudal. What you get for feudalism is you gain access to non-tribal texts. And the one that actually matters is this one. Early, high, and late all have a tech that does the same thing. It increases the size of your men-at-arms and the number that you can have. The later in the game it is, the more it's going to do. But this is really, really big. This is the main reason to actually become feudals if you can get this. However, that takes actual ages to get to. I could become feudal relatively quickly by doing something like forming the Norse-Greek hybrid culture, because then I'll steal a bunch of the Greek innovations and get almost straight to the tech level I need for early medieval, and then I could go straight for household soldiers. But we're getting into why that doesn't even seem like the best way to become strong and why it would take too long in a little bit. The other big thing that feudal does is it gives you better succession laws. Even just going over to partition, I have to stop being tribal. You're stuck in Confederate partition. However, because we have access to the Ting Meat culture, we can do this. Previously, I was wondering why I couldn't vote in Brittany, and the reason is because it's a decision to enact the Ting Meat stuff. Adopt special succession type is not a decision for my realm. That's not how it works. It is a decision that affects all of the titles I currently hold and gives that succession type to them. So I haven't yet given Brittany that thing. I have to adopt succession type again for it to affect my new lands. And I won't be doing it just yet because I'm actually very close to forming an empire, and I want to make sure that I can actually do this for the empire title as well, because I'm reasonably sure it has a cooldown, or worst case scenario, it's just a waste of 300 prestige right now. But the big reason that I don't want to go to feudalism is the next topic. Why am I able to raid? Because in my head, I just assumed it was like CK2 and I could like completely reform everything about my society and keep raiding. That's what I did on the channel previously, and that's how I thought it worked, and that's not the case. There are 4 ways to get access to raiding. I'm currently doing 2 of them. If you have an unreformed pagan faith, you can raid. When you reform it, you lose that ability. If you have a tribal society, if you haven't adopted feudalism, you can raid. And then there are 2 other much more niche options to allow you to raid, neither of which are things that I really want to do. One of them is if you come over to culture, and let's just pretend we're going to diverge our culture for a second. Practiced pirates is a cultural trait that lets you raid if you reform to it. However, they forgot to make it not absolute garbage, because now instead of getting 1 gold and 1 prestige, you get 1 gold and negative 1.5 prestige. So the total value has dropped from 2 resources to 0.5 resources, and I have absolutely no desire to ever do this. This just sounds terrible. The other thing you can do, which I can't show off in game because I don't have the ability to do it right now, is there's a decision called Elevating the Isle of Man. If you are the Count and Duke of the Isle of Man, Duchy, and County, as well as a king or higher, you can take a decision that gives your family a bunch of things, converts your empire to feudalism, creates the Kingdom of Man, and the big one is you get a 100-year-long dynasty modifier called Legacy of Piracy or something like that lets you raid even if you don't meet any other criteria. So if you want to convert to feudalism, doing that seems like the thing you do. You do have to be North Germanic or Norman to do this decision, but if you're talking about Vikings, that's probably not going to be hard for you to manage. So those are the 4 ways you can get it. Which means that since I don't want to do those last 2, my real options are be a tribal society or have an unreformed religion. Reforming my religion, amongst other things, gives me access to Great Holy Wars. So that sort of means that if I want to keep raiding, I need to not go to feudalism. And now I'm going to show you the real reason that feudalism is worth nothing to me. You get access to different buildings based on where you are in the world, your culture, and your tech levels. Different techs unlock new things, and also going to feudalism gets rid of a bunch of older stuff. Namely, it gets rid of war camps. Do you see what this says? Knight effectiveness 10%, number of knights +1, heavy infantry +4% damage, +2% toughness. Those are Varangians. And I can build these in every tribal holding I have. Better yet, I can build 2 of them in every tribal holding I have. They're insane. They're like the best building in the game. I didn't mean to start that one, but like I'm going to use all of my gold and prestige starting them across my entire kingdom. So I guess it's not a problem. Let's just go ahead and make as many as we can. And as a result of this, I actually don't want land in Iberia anymore, or in any civilized area. Whenever I have a succession crisis and my land gets juggled around, I'm either going to immediately become a tyrant to take my land back, or I'm going to just like go out of my way to conquer some idiot on the edge of the Baltic Sea so that I can get more of these war camps, because they're absolutely insane. And right now, I don't really care where my land is, I just need war camps and all of it. And that's a good example of what I mean when I say that I'm not good with the map. I didn't even really fully process that I had walked out of my realm just now. I'll get used to it eventually, it's just not visually intuitive to me. Whoever had this land previously was doing their job right, they actually have a war camp already, but we can still upgrade that war camp. Unfortunately, all my land down here, all 4 of these territories are feudal societies and they cannot build war camps. So all 8 of my tribal holdings are now building war camps, and if you tally up those numbers, that's 8 more knights, 80% knight effectiveness, 32% knight damage, 16%, no, not knight damage, 32% Varangian damage, and 16% Varangian toughness. So when I say I intend to stop a holy war single-handedly without raising my levies, you can see where I'm kind of going with that. Now, let's talk more details about our culture, not just mention pirates. I'm the head of this culture. I can pick my fascination now. I can come over to innovations and just click on something and do it faster. And I could get onagers, that would help me siege things quicker. But I siege them fast enough. Like, I can just throw my levies at their entire countryside and just go fight their army with my men-at-arms and my Varangians. Or sorry, my champions. But I guess my champions are mostly Varangians. If my champions are Varangians and my men-at-arms are Varangian veterans, they're just all Varangians, it's the same shit. Anyway, I don't feel like I need onagers, it feels like what I should be doing. What I'm actually gonna do, because mods are stupid, we don't need mods. I'm gonna go do crop rotation. I don't know that I'll ever build tribal era economic buildings because I'm a raider. I don't need money. But like legitimately none of this seems very relevant to me. I could go for public works to try to build development, but I don't actually know what the benefit of development is yet. Okay, it increases levies, taxes, and supply limit. So 3 things that I don't care about, because it's my land, so I don't care about the supply limit. My levies are trash, and taxes make up a negligible part of my income. I don't care. It really upsets me that the tooltip for buildings tells me the flavor text and not the effect of the buildings. However, all of this stuff sounds like it could theoretically be good, so I'm going to switch over to this, I think, unless Banis is insane. After much deliberation, I'm going for city planning. It doesn't really matter what I go for. They all suck. I don't really benefit from any of them, but city planning seems like the one most likely to help me. Crop rotation's the other one. But again, I don't know what economic tribal era buildings are. The tooltips for these are really not very helpful. But that's not why I wanted to go there. I want to talk about how we can improve the Norse culture. I am, after all, the head of Norse culture. I can reform it, or I can diverge and build my own culture, or I can hybridize with another culture. Now, for the things I have, I really like Northern stories. Anytime I get a new ruler, I can throw down a rune soul and get my feet under me. Coastal Warriors is insane, it's why I have Varangians. Ting Meat is my succession. Performative Honor gives me Shield Maidens, and therefore it gives me, well, it also just gives me +1 knights, but it also gives me more access to knights. Like, the pool is just wider because of Shield Maidens. Malleable Invaders, however, is basically worthless to me. It's just a way to bail on being Norse, and in Northern stories is pretty optional. So what I've done is I've looked through all of these various cultural traits to see what I'd be interested in. And first, I would want to go talk about one that's just very funny. That's By the Sword. This lets you declare an unlimited number of kingdom-level holy wars without changing rulers. And that's amazing. This is not a cultural trait. You pick this for a character, and that character conquers the world. And then the culture is defined by that one guy. It's very funny. I am, however, not interested in actually picking this. I just think it's particularly funny. The realm trait Equal Inheritance is really good because it lets us have female characters as our rulers, and we stop being screwed over by all of the geniuses in the family being females. We fix our problem that we're currently having. And as you can see, this stuff takes forever. It takes 6,000 prestige, and then I think, 40 years to actually happen. So while I am interested in doing this stuff, and I'm going to try to, it's probably not actually going to take effect before the game ends. However, Only the Strong is incredible. It does mean you can't have knights with less than 12 prowess. Boo-hoo, what a problem. We don't want them anyway. It gives additional bonuses for Blade Masters, and martial education traits give prowess now, so your knights actually are all just going to be better because most of them already have martial education. But the big thing, Men at Arms recruitment cost 2 cares, we have enough, we can afford it. Number of knights +2 and a knight effectiveness +100%. So yeah, I'm going to be letting enough time pass before the end of this to get this done. I want this trait, it's incredible. And I'm probably going to be dropping Malleable Invaders and Northern Stories to get Only the Strong and Equal Inheritance. I need 9,000 prestige and then 40 years. But that sounds like stuff worth pursuing. And while I was seriously considering forming a hybrid culture with the Greeks by coming down to Crete, or with the French, which I already can start working towards, that's really only helpful if I want to go to feudalism without using an event like the Isle of Man to skip there, because then I can steal their text to get closer to the tech requirements for feudalism. But I don't want to go to feudalism, so hybrid cultures really lose most of the value they would have in terms of tech tree value. Now, there's one more thing to talk about. Let's talk about our religion. And specifically, we should probably talk about holy sites. If we were to own our holy sites, these would give us knight effectiveness and prowess per level of devotion for our entire religion. And this one would give us, again, prowess per level of devotion, whole religion. These are incredible. So this one's a little bit hard to get, right? Going to war with Khazari is a problem. But the other one, the better one, is just hanging out. It's right there. I can go conquer that and vastly improve my religion. And I have to, because I need 3 holy sites. This is going to be one. I've got one already, and the other one's right here. Once we have those 3 holy sites, we can reform the religion. So coming over to what you would actually get if you did reform the religion, the big thing is we can make ourselves the head of the faith, and it would be passed down to my primary heir every time I died. So it would be the head of the Norse faith forever. And if we did that, we could also come over here and pick communion, which would make characters pay us money for being the head of the faith. We can change it from concubines to polygamous so that we can have the same number of wives without the penalties for concubine children. We can allow unrestricted marriage for genetics programs, and thankfully my games usually end before I get deep into that nightmare. And then the only other thing I'd really be interested in is the unrelenting faith, which gives every single member of my religion +4 prowess, and we get +2 advantage for hating other religions. But generally speaking, most of these things are pretty minor. Very few of these have big effects, like patron gods review decisions, blots are blots, warmonger changes the way you feel as a society. But when it comes down to it, most things like sacred childbirth, they have effects, but they're honestly pretty minor. The main things I would want are communion for money, as I would be the head of the faith, and unrelenting faith for additional fighting power. Let's get into actually playing. What are we doing today and what time we have left? First, I'm over the domain limit. I need to give away 2 territories. So I went to court here and searched by prowess with the intent of marrying whoever was at the top into my family matrilineally and giving them the duchy and county here. Unfortunately, my very best champion and bodyguard does have a list, which means that it can't be him. This guy's already married, checks out. So I've got a 22-year-old in my family. He's kind of amazing. How do I have so many people in my family that aren't married? Did they all have their spouses die? Because I don't have anything up here in my current situation. Can you refresh this, please? I feel like something's gone wrong. I don't need any tutorials. I can declare 29 wars. No, there's nothing there. I do have an empty council position above the domain limit, but that's so weird. How do I have so many unmarried people that my game doesn't care about? They might be in other people's land. That could be the problem. In which case, I'll have learned my lesson, and in any future games, I will never send anyone in my family to anywhere else, knowing that that will result in dozens of family members just sitting around unmarried doing nothing for no reason. That seems weird that that might be happening. So something really useful here is the living members of the Alphameklar dynasty can just be selected. So I have a sister with some pretty good genes, or a half-sister at least. I could give her husband the land. Seems reasonable enough, so I'm going to... It's so frustrating. They're not in my court, so I can't give it to them. And I can't get them to come to my court either. I'm just never going to send my family away, because it gets them to have more kids, but then they're not in my dynasty and they're not in my control, so the fact that they exist is of no importance to me. Alright, I can give the titles to this guy, and he also is married to a very competent family member of mine. You can have the Jarldom of Elysia and all of the chiefdoms in it. And also, one of the best things that this game did in terms of improving UI is granting titles, where it's now like in nested menus showing you how it works. That's so much better. Anyway, congratulations, you now exist. That fixes my county problem. I think I still might be over on duchies though. I do still have 3 duchies. This is one that I definitely do not want or need. But I also have land in it, which makes it slightly awkward. I'm just gonna give it to you. I don't care enough. You have some stuff. You can go ahead and have some more stuff. Yeah, you can have this title. Don't care. I think I just made him a triple duke, didn't I? That's his problem, not mine. He wants a vassal? Sure, take him. Don't care. Oh, now he's a powerful vassal and he expects me to give a shit. Go fuck yourself. No one cares. Now, I'm gonna go over to living members of my dynasty, which doesn't actually work because of the severely limited presets I'm allowed to use here. So we need to make a different search over here. So now I've got a filter for the unmarried members of the Alphameklar dynasty that are adults. We're gonna save this filter. Is there an age I can do for like under a certain age? No, that's fine. So now I have the unmarried family filter, and we're gonna sort these people by their age. So we can see Chieftain Dan here should be married and just isn't. But because he's a chieftain, I'm not able to do anything with that. So I need to have this say not rulers, because he's not going to talk to me about arranging a marriage for him. Okay, so now we can see that the ones who aren't rulers is a much, much smaller list, and all of these people should be family, or should be married, rather. So there is a 25-year-old pretty woman that we're going to marry this guy to. Next up, we have Freya here. Excuse me. Marital status unmarried. Are you sure about that? Oh, you're a concubine. I see. Well, I guess that's complicated then. So people will show up like that. It'll be very confusing, but that makes sense. I understand what's happening. I can't arrange a marriage for you because you're not in my court. Please come fix that. They're not in my court, please come fix that. I'm just fixing the issues I've made for myself in the past. I can find a spouse for you. There's a genius that's not in my dynasty, marry him immediately. Ingvar Olsen's wife seems to have a bit for some reason. What happened to you? Oh, you're alive. Ingvar, if you could avoid divorcing your wife or whatever happened there, that would be great. Let's arrange you a new marriage. You have a land, I'm not in control of you. Why are you showing up here? You only have claims. Can you come to court, son? I'm very confused with you. And lastly, you're 52, I don't care. Okay, so we need to sort out family more in a little bit. We're gonna increase tribal authority to the max level just because we can. We want that eventually no matter what. Now, onto some other stuff. We can take concubines. You are a normal functioning person, congratulations. My wife, unfortunately, is 53, and that means it's time to get a new one. Get out of here. Speaking of, this concubine is 39. I no longer need you. She was my antiquarian, that's unfortunate. And this one's 44. Once again, you can go. I don't need this. I may be 52, but that doesn't mean I can't have kids. It just means it's going to be harder and stupider. Yeah, sure. We can have concubines that hate me. I can live with this. They are very upset about this. I'm gonna marry this beautiful person even though they're 34. I can take the prestige shit, it's not a problem. Okay, with all of that done, we still have an unpause, so a little bit more needs to happen, but I think we're finally ready to move on. We need to gain more soldiers before we do anything, and the question is, what are we doing? We want to wage a kingdom war for Sweden, that's guaranteed, and we want to do a massive multi-dow of everything in England. We also want to come down to Mallorca and dow them, same with Sardinia, that's probably a double dow actually. After the last clip, I took a break, edited it down to see how much time I'd already spent talking about mechanics in the game, and did a bit more research. In doing so, I found out a couple of things. First, we do have to conquer Constantinople at some point, because it does give us 2 more knights and 20% more knight effectiveness. And also, in every holy site in the game, if you were to go to the holy site, I think this might be one of them, I'm not certain. Alright, so it might be locked off by tech. If you come over to the holy sites for the Norse religion, then you can find special building slots, which lets you build temples for those places, which wouldn't give us more knight effectiveness. But I'm believing that I just can't do that yet because I'm a feudal society, which is unfortunate. I do currently have us tacking towards city planning, which is how you build shrines, so maybe that'll unlock it, but I'm gonna guess that I just can't because I'm not gonna be going feudal. Now, who are we going to war with? Do we want to push in here? Do we want to just dow like everything south of Scotland? Do we want to dow Sweden? And I'm leaning pretty heavily towards Sweden. They are currently a close fight with us. I think our troop quality will absolutely crush them. My main thought is that I'm 52. I should probably make this declaration of war and get this done now rather than later. I want to make sure that I don't randomly die to something and end up not using a kingdom level war declaration. But I'm still going to sit and let my levies regenerate for a little bit. Do I have the prestige for a kingdom level war, actually? I don't, so that's actually kind of a non-option. We're going to swing this rally point over here and raise everyone here, I think. And we have to listen to a couple of messages go through about various weddings and invites to courts. Alright, that's everyone done. Now I think I'm just going to let them stay raised how they are. Let me take a look at how they raised up. Each one seems like it has a fair percentage of the Varangians and champions. That's what I want. I want them all to be more or less self-defending. First, we need to go get marriages done for everyone who just showed up at my court. This guy's 24, he needs someone similarly young, they've got robust to make it happen. Uner's 26, somebody similarly aged, 26 and quit, good enough. And one more, Ingvar, you're an insane adventure, you're gonna need a lot of things. But for the time being, you're a lunatic, that doesn't look good for your kids. But you can still marry her, have better kids. We're gonna toggle all 3 of these armies over to raiding. And now the question is just where do we want to go? All of this is apparently very recently raided. We probably just, like, go along the entire coast of Spain till we get filled with money, right? Yeah, we're just gonna circle Iberia till we have, like, full holds. That's all it is. So I'll be back with you as we start the raids. Oh, also, because I got remarried, I need to sort out my domain again. Let's handle that. A couple of marriages went through. I'm at 19 right now, so rather than going over +1 but getting up a lot of minor stat boost, what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to go over here, determine my personal deity, and switch over to Thor, who will be giving me +2 stewardship to get up to my domain limit. I could also have just given up my land in Brittany, I really don't need it, but this is fine. And more weddings are coming through. Alright, we have 9,000 men, basically 10,000. And we're going to be dropping them off just along the coast here. Oh wait, why is it moving all of them when I select one flag? I hate that. Okay, so what we have to do instead to make this work is I have to select it like that and then go one by one with them. And now we have all 3 landing side by side and they can start moving through the land and pillaging together. And there's really not much chance of anyone stopping me. And right now Iberia is pretty fractured, so I think that's going to stay true. You can just swing down here. Oh, this place kind of sucks, actually. Swing further down, I guess. 30 gold, huh? That's a lot. You'll be next. Somebody's pregnant. We're taking prisoners. We should probably check those out. I have a lot of prisoners, it seems. I would like a mass ransom. There's only 2. Whoa, you are fecund and quick. You know, you kind of suck. You can just go ahead and leave. I don't need you. I have a different, better concubine that I can take. This is incredibly inhumane, isn't it? I wish there was a thing I could sort by that said justified. Because if it was only the justified ones, I could click mass execute, right? Let me save my game real quick and see if like some pop-ups come up telling me that it's okay. All right, I'm gonna click on mass execute. Oh no, it'll upset the family and realm of some of the characters executed. Doesn't really tell me what it'll even do. Let's just watch my piety though, because most of these people are not proper Norse Vikings. Yeah, that gave me more. That's a lot of people who are dead now. It doesn't even tell me like the effects of a given execution. It's so weird. There should be so much more UI for that. I do lose stress and gain piety, and these people don't matter to me. So we'll go ahead and just kill like one person to get down to 0 stress, but the rest do feel a little bit superfluous, I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, let's continue raiding. Actually, this one's gonna end first. We're losing grandeur, unfortunately. Now, we need at least 1,000 prestige, which means we need at least 1,000 gold, because 400 is basically nothing. And we're currently at just under 100 gold. All right, we're gonna move down here. Oh wait, that's the wrong character. You stay right where you are, please. On this character, we're going to move down. You're gonna be next. Do you wanna go right or somewhere else? You wanna go across the river, which is a little bit difficult, so we'll go here first. Again, though, I should probably finish raiding first. Don't know how I have that problem as often as I do. You just finished your raid. You can pop down to the coast for 10 more gold. Honestly, not worth my time. Go for the 27. Poor Iberia, man. They probably didn't deserve it. I'm a little bit worried about this army at 3,000. They feel like they're far enough away from the rest of it that they could be vulnerable. I think I'm just worried, though. I think they're fine. I don't think they're really at any danger. All right, you're going there. Wait for this raid to finish, then pop across the river. Everyone's moving. It's hard to tell exactly who's going to be raiding first. Looking like these guys. You can come up. You're going to work down towards the rest of us. To here, I guess. These guys just finished their raid. Head over. Man, poor Iberia. They were doing so well before all this. Checking out the mass ransom. I can ransom 5 characters. I'll go ahead and do just that. That was 10 gold. Are you done popping up? Thank you. What's my notable guest? Why are you special? Oh, hi. You have a lot of stats. You're one of us now. As it turns out, with all these war camps being made, I'm going to need more people. So that guy was worth 25, another 10, another 10, and you're just been recruited already. Let's make sure no one is waiting around to be recruited as it is. And of course, everyone who can be is being forced. We've captured a Crusader, which is kind of funny. He's been in there for a while, I guess. We've captured multiple Crusaders. We've captured a lot of Crusaders, actually. That does sort of check out. It makes sense that we have all these guys. I guess they're just gonna rot to death in my prison. It's kind of awful. If I could sacrifice them at the blood, I'd feel better about it, but it's like executing them feels very pointless and weird. You're 53, so even though you have a 20, I don't care. I don't have any young, competent people. I was checking my prisons to see if I had anyone that I could recruit and forced to change religion as a new champion, but that's not happening. This guy's finishing first, they'll be moving up. You finished at almost identical times, and you're next. We're just finally getting everyone grouped back up again. I'm gonna head down after this because he's gonna be coming over. Then you head up, actually. You head down. How much money do we have left? Like, oh my god, we're not even halfway done? Well, we're almost exactly halfway done, actually. It's brutal, though. Like, dear lord. They stand no chance. Oh, I have a martial trait. I'm gonna take Bellum Justum just because it saves me 500 prestige for to declare this war in a year. But I think I'm done being in martial. What I want to do, I haven't really looked too thoroughly at these yet. They're a much more core part of the game. It's weird that I haven't looked at this too much. But it's because, like, this is a really organic, fun part of the game to explore as opposed to, like, just sit down and bulldoze through every single culture trait to see what they do. What I want to do is switch over to the intrigue focus to, you know, get killed a little bit less later in life. And specifically, I want to go for temptation for plus 20% fertility. And then with my first trait, I'll take, like, weeds in a garden for another plus 30%. Let's try to have some more genius kids before we kick it. There's a scheme at court. Someone's flying to kill my guest, who is, I mean, I don't know if we need to stop the one behind it. I guess people dying in court's just bad for the rep, right? Cradled by sickness. How are you doing, kid? You're a comely, genius, and sickly. If you could stop that, that would be great. Okay, so I got a pop-up saying she gave birth to our son, but I didn't get a message saying I could... You're not in my court. You're an ex-concubine. You're somewhere else. How do I get my kid back? I guess my genius kid's like in a Christian court somewhere with a really furious mom. I should have checked to see if they were pregnant before I kicked them out of my court. I kind of want to keep the kids. Right, pop down there. Once again, we're just doing another check for mass ransom. This makes my gameplay so much smoother to do this instead. I do need a good chunk of gold, I feel like. I just forgot what it's for. Which checks out for being a... Whoa! So this is probably like the main realm moss. Like you can look at it and physically see that it's different from all the other ones. 108 gold though? That's wild. Yes, please. Oh, it's actually just like a feature of this territory. All right. More ransom claim paid. More raiding getting done. It's just brutal. The map. So somebody is just like bragging about drawing maps for some reason. And it's sort of suspicious what he's drawing maps about. Sebastian, do I care about you? No. No, I don't. Not even a teeny tiny bit. Once this done's, he'll head down. Once this done's. Once it finishes. I can do words. I know lots of words. Continue heading down. There's too many prisoners, I can't keep track of it all. Alright, these guys actually aren't even at full bags after that. Alright, this is the river crossing, so we just go straight through here. You should finish first. You got there way before everyone else. Whoa, I should not have a new player here. What happened? Let me look at some stuff. I don't care about any of this. I can create a duchy. That's always good. I like turning money into prestige. In line to inherent stuff, prisoners can be ransomed. We'll just do the good old ransom all. Get them out of here. I am not voting. Did my previous heir just die? So I think my previous heir just died. I need to go to my family tree to find him, because he's not currently my heir. If I open my dynasty tree, go back to Gene Seed, Ulf had a kid. I thought it was Ingvar. Was Ingvar not my heir? Well, he is an insane lunatic at this point, so I'm happy with him not being my heir. Let's find somebody we want to vote for. 13 stewardship with half-decent traits isn't terrible. This 14-year-old already has 19 personal combat. Hell yeah, kid. We have a 19-year-old Fekin Herculean guy that is currently not married. You cannot trust your family members to handle the eugenics scheme at all. So one of the other characters just named this guy Gene Seed. He is intelligent and hale and Fekin, so it's not terrible. I've just been clicking on all the kids and I saw the fountain of blood on this bleeder kid over here. I've pinned this kid because he's one of the only male geniuses I've managed to find. I'm gonna pin this kid just because he's awesome, even though I don't know if I actually care about him. 30 prowess, huh, Dan? Dear Lord, calm down. And you're not married, it's disgusting. You're just the grown-up version of that kid, aren't you? Okay, that 0-year-old boy is the only one in my family that is a male genius. So over here in Scotland, they're voting for someone else, which is unacceptable. Let's figure out what's going on. So when I come over to what's happening, you can see that like literally no one is agreeing here. Like the top 3 guys are 7, 6, and 6, and there's like dozens of people at 0 and a couple of 1s. There are only 1, 2, 3, or 28 votes across 18 electors. Basically, everyone has familial concerns minus 50, which confuses the shit out of me. Because the guy they're voting for over mine, who's barely winning, is still a part of my dynasty. So what I've just done is I cast my votes for Bjorn then, because like I don't have the ability to control Scotland, so I just have to vote with them on both titles to keep my round together. Provided that I die randomly. I've just spent a while managing that and being terrified. Now what was I doing? Raiding? Yes, good. Right, this one's gonna finish first, and then you need to move down south to regroup with everyone else. Next up is gonna be this guy moving along the coast. You should go there first, I guess. Nah, we'll just leave that blank so that we can get out of here soon. So I'm just about done raiding for the day, I feel like. You finished your raid. Pop over here, it's fine. What if we just, like, didn't take the attrition instead, though? And we're gonna be getting out of here, I think. Because we just have a lot of money at this point, and we have way more than we actually need. I will ransom everyone. I'm pretty sure I, like, just did this before I finally unpause, but oh well. Alright, and because I want everyone to be, like, spending their time efficiently, I'm gonna run down all the way to the next area. Oh no, my poor son. He's got cancer. I'm glad we all changed our votes anyway. Rip him. Take drastic measures. We need to get rid of the cancer. Disastrous mistreatment. What am I letting you dig up corpses for? Well, he's missing a leg now, and he's wounded. I don't think those were the case before. This will give him chastised position and make him better. So, I don't really care about that, son. It's fine. Live and learn. We're gonna continue just doing the whole run-through thing with these guys, and when this raid finishes, I'm gonna go in a similar direction. You're the closest, so you should be going the furthest. As soon as somebody moves, I'll know who's going next. Actually, you're the closest, so you should be going the furthest. And you should be going here, and that means that this is your target. And as these raids finish, we'll hop in the ocean. That was a pretty bad treatment. I'm kind of stressed about my son dying. Let me just go execute some people real quick. First, prisoners. Does anyone want else? Oh, that's a damn shame. Sort by age. Oldest first. The other way, please. I'll scroll to the bottom. It's fine. I'm really stressed out right now. My son died. I just feel like executing my own misfortune on others right now. Please go. Anyway, about that raiding. Oh. We'll beat him in a fight. It's fine. The weirdest and most unintuitive thing for me in the new CK3 systems is that your levies basically don't replenish while they're raised and at war, which doesn't logically make a whole lot of sense. Wow, this one place is taking forever. What's going on? I'm not even the one doing this. I'm just sitting here wasting my time. That's what's going on. I'm an idiot. Alright, everybody, come home. Let's go see how much money we made. Ransom all. There was one person we got that we could sell off just now. Alright, we have 3 raids back. A lot of other stuff. We've got a well-organized court. Everyone likes me now. That actually broke a faction against me. We have 315, 361, and 255. A little under 900, right? 700 for these two. Yeah, a little under 900, more like 850. That's pretty amazing. Now, with all of that done, we totally have the Invade Kingdom cast spell out here. And if I understand this correctly, the way this works is when you do an Invade Kingdom, you're going to get the kingdom when you win no matter what, but if you have additional territory occupied outside of it, you'll get that too. So it's really important that I siege down this whole coastline, as well as... No, just that. They don't have scan. So I can get more land by making sure I have all of these non-Sweden kingdoms, or counties rather, held when the war ends. The Northman army seems to have settled down and become Marar. They're gonna need to die eventually. Actually, instead, do you just want to like be, you just want to be my vassal? You're an ambitious, paranoid idiot. I get that. I can feel that. That's okay. You want Alfredur on the Scottish throne. Is he good? He's at least part of the dynasty. He's not terrible. But let's go take a look at our candidates and see who really is the best option for these thrones, and if I can't get them actually installed on the thrones like they should be, while I wait for my stuff to rebuild. If I sort by sum of all skills, then Gene Seed Onunderson's just the man to vote for. So we'll vote for him on both counts. He's my new heir immediately because Scotland is my main title. And we're going to let time pass and see if the votes go through for him in Scotland, or if those stay split. I'll go ahead and throw a grand blot. It's going to be the best anyone's ever seen. Just rip my gold every time I make that decision. And he's winning, but I think it's pretty narrow here. No, he's not even winning. Everyone in Scotland that's voting has 1 vote. I've suddenly realized that I don't care enough. I'm just going to solve this by becoming an emperor. I don't care. I've been thinking about this way too long, and I know a solution is available if I just stop thinking and press on. We've got a new kid, as always, they're decent. I'm confused. Apparently, like, this person burst in and I'm just, like, in the middle of making out with my cousin's wife? But I don't have anything about her, like, that says she's my lover or anything, or any sway schemes against her or anything. I guess if you pick this seduction lifestyle focus, things like this just happen. Anyway, I think Freya get the door to try to turn this into a threesome is easily the stupidest option. Yeah, sure, of course that worked. Not that it's getting any kids, but it's incredibly silly. Anyway, the finest sacrifices of animal and men alike. That secret got out instantly, which is kind of hilarious. Good job. It almost seems like that's not worth doing. I'm still a devoted servant. Like, on the whole, it wasn't that bad. And one of them is pregnant with my child. I gained a rival. Wait. So I gained a rival who was my cousin. And then he died immediately from the stress of being cucked. This has been an emotional roller coaster. Holy shit, please stop giving me events about this. I regret everything. I'll just go ahead and stop being unfaithful. It seems like the cleanest solution. We're still nowhere near 15,000. I've got a dude who should be marrying. Are you one of the awesome ones? Yeah, you're pretty good. You're not the best, but you're pretty good. There's a comely 23-year-old. Go for it. I can lawfully imprison the person that I just seduced. Let's just designate a guardian like a sensible adult instead. And everyone always messes it up. So instead, I'm going to do it myself. Because I can't trust anybody to do it properly anyway. And we'll continue letting time tick on by. Apparently, I have an issue where my kinsfolk are getting real incestuous out there. Ignore all that. Let's just go be proper Norsemen and have a blot. I'm going to impress the nobility. I can raise a runestone. Why not? I'll go ahead and do it to my father, as it's the only option. The unpronounceable one is likely to be one of my more tribal holdings, which I actually care about. Gonna be honest, I kind of just want all these guys to stop wasting my time in the prison. Please leave. That's a lot of prisoners released. He can come in and give me his money, why not? I accept his generous gifts. It all goes wonderfully. I'm sure eventually someone's gonna try to kill me about that. Alright, so I've done a bit of research involving dynasty legacies. Not research, I've just read them all. I haven't looked at other people's opinions. Convergent blood is obviously good. It gives us a chance of reinforcing them at plus 30%. And then the rest of it, still good. Minus 30% chance of bad traits, and then minus 30% chance of new bad traits. This can tell it to just like try to brute force genius a lot harder. Everyone lives 5 years longer. That's all really cool. Now, despite the fact there is one called Pillage, nothing in here actually unlocks rating. However, Seawolves gives us 100% more prestige from battles and +1 prowess to our entire family, and always space in the hold gives us +5 advantage while defending, and army loot plus 50%, woo, but way more importantly, +2 to the max size of heavy infantry regiments, like the Varangians. That says 40% more Varangians, so we're gonna start building towards that right now, immediately. It's super important. Ominous reputation here for +15 natural dread and faster dread growth might be insane if dread is good. I don't know if it is. Renowned name down here in glory is alright. It gives you more knights. Obviously that's a good thing. It also gives you +100% to your natural court grandeur growth, which also seems really good. And over here, Studious Youth gives you better education traits across your family, but I mean, for the cost of 2 perks, that's probably not worth. But yeah, we're going hard for always facing the hold right now, and after that, we're probably going down the bloodline tree. We just finished all of our warrior lodges. It just happened. They finally hit. You know what that means? It's time to upgrade all of our warrior lodges to level 2. These are not cheap. 285 prestige each is kind of brutal. I've just used so much prestige, in fact, that I can no longer declare a king level war, can I? Damn shame. I'm going to raise just my Varangians over here and go hit the 2 most valuable places so that I can continue being able to declare war while I let my things finish regenerating. But real quick, we're up to 27 available champions, which is so many that all of these guys isn't actually enough. We're gonna go ahead and lower our minimum down to 10. Congratulations, buddy, you got a job. All right, we're barely able to fill 27 now. That's so many. We're gonna move this here. We're gonna raise all men-at-arms here. I'm assuming that will also get all of my champions. The genius kid, of course, didn't make it. RIP. I've got a new perk here. We're gonna do like weeds in the garden as we planned to get more fertility. I'm being raided. I mean, somebody in my land is. Don't pretend it's me. I can make shield maidens, not like I have the prestige lying around. But you're a 17 and... Wait, are they both 17s? And she's a 20. With all the traits. Legitimately, even though she would make an insane warrior, I just want her having kids. I don't want you to fight. Stay safe. And right now, prestige is worth too much for me to use it to make shield maidens, unfortunately. Even though I really like the idea of doing that, I just like need so much prestige for all these hunting grounds. Not hunting grounds, war camps. So we have 2,526 guys, which comes up to be 2,500 Varangians and 26 champions. I'm reasonably confident they can kill anyone in the world. While my stuff finishes getting to 16,000, they're gonna walk through and pillage everything. Oh yeah, come try to fight us, you idiots. Once again, Genius Handsome going to die. Oh, you're a bastard? No, he's not. I'm legitimizing him. That kid is sticking around. Pin him. You can go ahead and unpin the one that died. We've already finished this raid. We'll move on to the next place. This is the most valuable. We'll go here. Yeah, try to stop us. Let's see how this goes. They've already lost by the time I paused it. Stack wipes. Just gone. Just nothing lost on our side. Killed them all. Oh no. Oh no. We might already be proving the quality over quantity thing. There's so much more we can do. Anyway, I'll ransom this one kid I've got for 10 bucks. We'll just keep on going through their land, knocking everything out. A schemer's been discovered. Oh no. What will I ever do about that? Oh, there's not as much money over here as I thought there would be. Are you gonna... Honestly, I think I can take all 7,000 of them. I only have one complaint with this. I should be leading it myself. Apparently there's actually someone who's better than me, but he's a champion with 39 prowess, so we'll keep him there. But yeah, they don't stand a chance. And I don't want to be going this fast. How much time is left on the raid? 2 days left as soon as it's done. Oh, I left early. And finished anyway. Can you raid while walking away? Can I min-max this harder? It never occurred to me that I could. Oh, I thought I'd get them to hit me first, but it's fine. We don't need the defender's advantage. They don't stand a chance. New son, he's decent. You can be named whatever crazy name that is. It's fine. I want to watch this at 3x. I feel like at any faster, I'm not going to get to see how bad it is. I got additional taxes. I'm just afraid to unpulse it. It moved over, but I haven't... Alright, so I lost about 100, they lost about 1,000, and it's going way fast. Oh no. Oh no. So the reason I wanted to make sure I was leading that is so that when we click on this, and it says 3,500 prestige, I get all of that. Because you do get prestige and piety for fighting battles. I wasn't quite thinking I would stack wipe them for 3,500 prestige. I thought it would be a little bit less than that. We're not getting anything in the pursuit phase, which is really weird. I think if you win hard enough, it just auto-kills their whole army. Yeah, you guys can be shield maidens now. I've got enough prestige for that. It's okay. Yeah, of course you want to be vassalized. Sure, whatever you'll agree to. It doesn't really matter. Whoa, what? Declare wars? That's not what I want. If you can marry, you should. Let's get out the basic preset. It seems really small and unimportant for this point in time. There aren't really people of age who have genetics right now, so we'll just go ahead and not worry about it. Any traits, should get somebody who's like decent in diplomacy. Not like the best, just decent. All right, so that was hilarious. That was absolutely insane. Did we get prisoners from that? No, damn shame. Anyway, what are we doing? Are we just going down to Paris because we're getting sidetracked and going to Bruges somehow? Seems like it. The point of this was to be able to go to war. That's why I needed the prestige. You can have whatever vassal you think is appropriate, it's fine. The vassal was apparently in jail. Maybe that's why he vassalized in the first place. We got 156 gold, it doesn't matter. I'll let this one wrap up and then I'll come home. Cradled by death. His mom died in childbirth. Damn shame. On the other hand, though, like, good trade, holy shit. You get a pin, kid. Try to stay alive. Being pinned basically is a death flag in this campaign so far. Anyway, I'm feeling a little bit stressed out. Do I have any prisoners? Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just having a bad time lately. A cynical bent, what does that mean? So as we get back, everyone's discussing the loot they have and discussing like what they're gonna give up to the gods because we're all good Norse Vikings and all that. And this guy's like, dude, I earned this. Thor didn't do shit. And while I as a person heartily agree, I am zealous in character and trying to stop being so stressed. And whether or not this works or fails doesn't matter because it de-stresses me. Anyway, maybe look like a fool. Big rip, who cares? Oh. He made me look like such a fool, he became infirm on the spot. Is that what happened? Yes. All right, we need to form this kingdom because I could die anytime now is what I just heard. That's rough. Anyway, stand down this army. How are my Varangians doing? We'll sit down for a second and let them finish up. We can also get like another 400 levies. All right, they're all at 500. We're at 15,000 out of 15,000. Oh yeah, because our levies dropped because we have much worse martial now. I'm above my domain limit because I have much worse everything now. Hey, guy over here. You get all the land that's actually a white elephant gift that you really, really don't want. Congratulations on having Brittany. Because I'm keeping the tribes. The tribes are insane. And with all of this prestige that I have, I actually can just finish up improving my land. The places I couldn't afford before, I can easily afford now. All right, so all 8 of my holdings have or are building towards War Camp 2. I can declare a war on the Kingdom of West France. What's my reason for this? Invade Kingdom? That's a good reason. But no, we're doing it on Sweden, unfortunately. Because I need this holy site and I need the land. Because without the land, I'm gonna have a real hard time making a new empire. Now, unfortunately, being infirm, I could drop dead very soon. I need to do a bit of raiding to get the gold for this, and I obviously need to actually conquer Sweden. So hopefully we manage that. If we don't, that sucks. For now though, I'm done, and I'm gonna be playing the rest of this a little bit faster and looser, I think. Because after seeing that fight against West France, I kind of feel like the game's a foregone conclusion. I've already proven quality over quantity, like to a much more severe extreme than I thought I would be. Because, like, we're not there yet. We aren't finished, like, at all. I can have 40% more Varangians and way more knights and bonus. It's gross. It's gross. It's disgusting. And I'm looking forward to doing some more of it in the next one. I've been Rather Incoherent. I hope you're enjoying the series. I hope you liked the video. And if you did, then please like, comment, and subscribe. All that stuff really does help the channel grow. And I deeply appreciate it. I'll see you in whatever disgusting Varangian nightmare next episode holds.